Now there we go.
All right. You're going to edit that off the front, of course. Thanks for the nod. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We are your first choice for Australian Transformers news and reviews, even if you didn't know it. You might think that this is episode 1. This is actually episode 101. We have been running under the radar as Off the Shelf, the voice of Transformers Collectors Club Australia, for the last 2 years. And now we're here with a new look and feel, with the same old hosts and in the same old room. But we're a new look and feel, we swear, we promise. And you can take that to the bank, but checks will not be honoured.
We've got a poster and everything.
Yeah, look, there's a poster behind Brad. If you're watching us on the video,
hello.
If you're watching us on the video, Brad has spent the most money that we've spent on a single podcast ever by getting a human-size printout of the Australian Transformers Weekly artwork. Brad, who's the artwork actually by? Can we talk about them on the
air? Yeah, I guess Jason Mazzero in Melbourne. He done the characters for it. Failed already. Yes, Justin Mazzero. He done the characters for us the first time around, and I sent him a request a couple of weeks ago saying, "Hey, Unicron, how about some new bodies for these disembodied heads we've had for the last 2 years?" And he came up with this beautiful artwork.
Yeah, I got to say, as much as I like my Rodimus artwork, I reckon your Oztron is pretty much the winner out of everything on the poster there. I really like that. It's good. Justin has done good work. Justin is a great guy. Really happy to see his stuff blowing up and writ large. So yeah. Now and he took commissions. He took commissions when we done the characters. There's a few other members in the group getting around in the club that have got headshots done by him, so hit him up and he might be able to do something for you as well. Yeah, absolutely. I love Justin's work. I have prints of some of his work that will be they'll be showing up somewhere on walls behind me in future episodes as I rearrange my house. But for now, they are neatly framed and away in storage. But yeah. So this is episode 101 of the podcast. It's the first episode of Australian Transformers Weekly. I'm Jason. Joining me for this week's episode, we have Brad Mell. Brad is president of Transformers Collectors Club Australia, which does make him something of a personality in the local Transformers scene. And despite him being wrong about Masterpiece Megatron, we love him anyway.
I probably wouldn't go that far, but thank you, Jason. Thank you for having me.
No, I would. You're wrong. It's okay.
Yes. It's okay.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Coming to us from Adelaide, South Australia, possibly one of the few places in Australia that's not underwater at the moment. Max Tibby, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thankful to not be underwater, because regardless of that, we still had a hell of a lot of rain.
I've had a this is what happens when you have a cyclone in Australia, right? It's just tons of stuff. And Brad appears to have turned into an Autobot symbol. No, he's back. There we go. Like if you're listening internationally, then for the first time, then welcome as well. And we have a cyclone bearing down on Australia, or a hurricane if you're American, and on the northeastern seaboard of the country, but it's making it rain basically everywhere. It's a massive cloud, lots of rain. It's been dumping on Sydney for the last couple of days, and it rained out a party that I was having outside my apartment in the courtyard tonight as well. So disappointing. There's lots of rain around, but yeah.
Look, Eastern States, I feel for you, but it's nice that you've got the cyclones back now. The natural order has been restored.
Mm. Hey, how are the blackouts going, Max?
Oh, no, it's okay. He gets Elon Musk to fix his state's power issues. We get nothing. We get nothing. Like what are you going to say when Elon Musk builds a wall of Tesla Power Walls and keeps all of us out of South Australia, the only place in the country after the apocalypse that will have electricity?
Let's hope Grapple can save the day.
I have no idea what both of you just said. Brad.
Oh, I was going to say, let's hope Grapple could save the day.
Was that just
Because
was that just like a cheap opportunity to hold up your mate Toys grapple?
Yes, it was.
Okay,
We've lost
enough.
our power station down here now. So, Max, where do you buy your cheap candles from? I need to get a source.
You go to Daiso.
Yeah,
Noted.
we don't have candles. We just start bushfires.
Yes, fair enough. I thought you were going to say you don't have Daiso. I was going to say that's very disappointing if that's the case.
I don't think we do. I don't think we have that either.
You don't have the amazing $2 shop where everything is $2.80, including plastic display cases that are just the right size for deluxe cars.
Very nice.
No, we do have a $2.80 shop. It's like a Japanese themed one, but I know it's not called Daiso.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's called something different in Adelaide for like. I'm going to say copyright reasons, but I don't know that Adelaide would have any copyright on the word Daiso.
Might be surprising because I know I think they call Woolworths Safeway in Victoria or something like that.
They don't anymore. Yeah, that was
all Woolies now.
That was the 90s, which I believe is when you were born. So that's okay.
Fun fact: I never knew Woolworths was Woolworths until I joined the army and left Victoria. So yeah.
Yeah, no, so look, since it's the Australian podcast, let's talk about that a little bit. I grew up with Safeway in Victoria, and then when I went to see my grandparents in Queensland, they're like, "What's a Woolworths?" Oh, okay. But, and then I realized that they were both marketing themselves as the fresh food people, and realized that that's why they're the same company. So. And that Woolworths is a completely different Woolworths than the ones that you guys get in the UK and in the US for overseas listeners. So, great.
Disregard.
Great start. Just ignore everything that we've just said. It doesn't apply to you. It's fine.
So sure, you found it scintillating regardless.
Oh, look, of course, you've got to have some local flavor. Like, we can. This is the Australian podcast. We can talk about democracy sausages when it comes to election time, and people still won't have any fucking idea what we're talking about. Let's talk about Take Your Bot to Work Day. And I think if we're going to talk about Take Your Bot to Work Day, I think, Brad, you might need to turn my screen on the podcast, on the podcast video feed.
Do you believe I do? There we go.
I believe it.
I believe it.
All right, there we go. So, take your bot to Derp Day. Take your bot to Work Day. I'm going to trust you to edit that, but I know you're not going to. Take Your Bot to Work Day has been relaunched with a competition by TCCA, the Transformers Collectors Club Australia. That is where Brad is from. Each Wednesday in the TCCA Facebook group, there is a post for the week's competition. You can post your bot in the real world pick, and there's a chance to win some great prizes at the end of the year when all the winners from each week, they get to do battle in like a Take Your Bot to Work Day Thunderdome, where lots of photos enter and only one leaves. So this week's winner was Simon Smith, who's posted the photo that you can see on screen if you're watching the video feed. It's Alpha Trion, but that's not the Titans Return Alpha Trion, is it?
No, that's a third-party one that I don't think transforms.
He looks like he poses, but he doesn't transform. That's fine. He looks like he doesn't.
Yeah. I think that's the future EX Goken. It's a die-cast action figure.
It looks great.
Which
regardless.
Alpha Trion should not transform. He doesn't have an alt mode.
That seems appropriate. So he's got Alpha Trion with Chromia, Windblade, RC, and are those MMC figures in front of him? I can't actually tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are
definitely third party.
Yeah, the variants of the Azalea mold.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so in fact, so I know why they look so short. It's because they're on their knees. Okay.
Yeah.
So Alpha Trion, surrounded by his bots as botches, as Tyson Richards commented. So yeah, there we go. Thank you, Simon, for entering, and your photo will be turning up on the TCCA website and going into the major prize draw at the end of the year. Do we know what that prize is yet, Brad?
No, it's just because it's a year away. I don't want to say, well, it's going to be Masterpiece Megatron when Megatron's going to be 8 months old by then. It just, once we get word of what's going to be released around November, December, I can go rightio and start looking at getting a figure. It's going to be about $100 to $150 worth. So
Right.
Whether it's a masterpiece, yeah, or whatever. So that's the aim, that's the goal, that's the hope and the dream.
You mentioned this guy. I think it's time we talked about the news.
Did I? Oh crap, I did.
You just can't help it, can you? Masterpiece Megatron is, as we speak, getting released in the world. You can see these boxes full of Masterpiece Megatron MP36, and this is a post from Action Robo, a Hong Kong retailer, saying, "Yep, we've got him. We've got a lot of him. Look at all those boxes. My goodness."
That's a wall. A wall of Megatron.
That is a Wallatron. That's actually a different Transformer, sorry. But Masterpiece Megatron is now a thing that exists in the world, and yeah, he's ready to go, and he's coming out. That's not an in-hand photo, but it's a in-collection photo, and yeah, look, I'm going to be happy to have this guy on my display shelf. I still think his head looks a little bit too large for his body, but I don't care. Like it is time to put a new Megatron on people's shelves.
Oh, yes, he's far from perfect, but given all the options that are out there, this is absolutely the best MP style Megatron that we have.
Yeah, and not that any of us have him yet.
No, yeah,
but I think in a week
he might arrive and just crumble apart.
Well, no, I think in a week or so's time there'll be a few of these popping up in the group, and we'll see how many people have the cops called on them when they post that they've received them. A little bit of an experiment to try. For international listeners, Masterpiece Megatron is quite controversial in Australia, and also for Australian listeners, actually, because like half the people seem to not know how to import this thing. In many states in Australia, you will need a permit to own him because he transforms into a semi-realistic looking weapon. And there is a club called the Megatron Club, which is a realistic weapons collection club, and if you do sign up for membership of the Megatron Club, that is more likely than not enough to prove your membership, prove your interest in collecting these figures. So there has been quite a lot of interest in this this week in the group. So you know, I've seen a discussion post every few days saying, you know, how do I bring this guy in? What do I do? So I think the fact that he's getting close to release, or at least now today he's been released, I think it's fueling quite a lot of interest in him, and you know, rightly so. Yeah, I'm looking forward to him. Now, Brad, you've taken a little bit of issue with part of Masterpiece Megatron. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I don't want to dwell. Start all over. We got a in-hand transformation video this week from someone. They went through it all out of the box. It's interesting. His arm cannon isn't a light-up function. It's actually the sound clip for the figure in Japanese. So congratulations, you're going to have a Japanese-speaking Megatron. I was not a fan of the transformation on this thing whatsoever, and I'm still not a fan of the figure itself. So
I got to say, in response to that, you know what? Making a robot into a gun is hard. Like I don't really have a problem with the transformation being complicated. Like I don't expect it to be easy.
The free third-party ones in MP5 have done it well enough beforehand and haven't been anywhere near as complicated. There's 8 or 9 steps just in the foot.
Yeah, I know. Look, we were talking about this earlier in the week.
That's 18 steps. 18 steps just to get his feet to go from being a foot to a ruler.
You've correctly identified that 9 times 2 is 18. As I was saying to you earlier in the week, I think if you have a problem with a foot taking 9 steps to transform, you should probably go and buy a Robots in Disguise figure. It's a masterpiece. It's not, you know, it's not meant to be simple to transform. I think
yeah, but it's not
complication in it is fine. The engineering is fine. People often marvel at what Takara manages to pull off engineering wise, as opposed to a lot of third parties, and I think that's entirely appropriate.
Yeah, the thing of this guy is, he's got a lot of small panels flipping around on him, but in terms of the basic motions that he's making, it all seems really intuitive. Going off of that video. And,
Let's
and if you compare
also-
that to stuff like Ironhide, where there's a whole bunch of little moving parts, but it's all intuitive, and so you can pick that up and you instinctively know, okay, this is going to go here, this is going to go here. So I'm hoping that Megatron is going to have the same sort of feeling to him.
But yeah, you can't compare this to Ironhide because Ironhide's got large panels.
No, you can. He's got
rig.
hip skirts as well.
I'd say 80% of this guy's small, intricate panels, but yeah,
I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. Like, I can see some panels and stuff on his legs, but on his main body, I don't really see anything small and intricate. I see quite a nice amount of flat panel space on the chest and on the arms, and like I do see a bit of detail around his around the top of his chest, around his neck, but I don't mind.
I was just referring to the transformation, not actually the way the figure looks.
It's a bit of an interesting faction symbol on him. I'm not sure why the Decepticon logo is there.
Isn't it in the cartoon or the movie?
No, correct. It is in the cartoon, and Takara does go for cartoon accuracy. Fair enough.
Yeah, and that's you have a look back pre Wheeljack. What's the hardest between MP9 and Wheeljack? What's the hardest bot to transform? Maybe Prime.
Prime's not that hard. I think everyone owns it. So yeah.
Yeah, but even like the Datsuns, Soundwave, they're all fairly simple. That they're G1 accurate, and they're pretty simple transformations to achieve that.
Between MP9 and Wheeljack was what, MP21, wasn't he?
Yeah, I call it the golden years of Masterpiece.
So what is
Masterpiece?
What is the hardest Masterpiece to transform in that? Because like they're all the same.
Well, that's the thing. You got 3 or 4 Datsuns. You got a Lambo. You got cassettes, and you got Soundwave.
Yeah, but I mean, look, Megatron was always going to be a more difficult figure to transform. And I don't really have a problem with it.
No, I know that, and it's exactly right.
I reckon his head sculpt is fantastic as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, yes. I mean, everyone was sort of fawning over the DX9 head sculpt, but this one even blows that out of the park.
I think a lot of the third-party heads, they captured a part of Megatron, or a particular expression of Megatron that they thought was quite popular and resonated well with fans. But you still have to hand it to Takara Tomy with their official head sculpts. Like their design and their expressions are really spot on.
Some of those, like the replay, he's got 3 or 4 replacement faces, and they all just, if you get that face on and get him in a certain pose, he does look quite good. That face it exerts Megatron.
I think also, while we're talking about engineering of these Masterpiece figures, we should remember the kind of crazy hip swivel and tilt that this figure can do. Like that's something we haven't actually seen in a lot of these Masterpiece figures before.
Yeah, it almost seems like he's got sort of a figure art style set up in the hips.
Not only the hip, the knee as well. Like he can get that. It's not a directly straight out thigh or calve. Yeah, thigh and then straight down calve. Like he can almost get a Z shape out of his leg. Like he can really pull that knee up to his chest.
Yeah.
Like posability on this thing is out of the park, and yay, that's what third party does, not Hasbro, Takara. I don't need ninjas. I want Transformers. Transformers aren't ninjas. For me. I'm losing. I'm muting.
I'm going to pretend I get that reference, but I'm also going to move on. Now, there has been a little controversy with Masterpiece Megatron that came out today and very quickly backtracked from Hobbylink Japan, who sent out what's the correct phrase for this? They sent out a notification to people who'd ordered the figure. It said like, hey, we're going to open up your figure and we're going to put an orange cap in it, and so that it doesn't get confiscated by customs. And it's going to apply to orders going to America and Australia. Nope. We don't act. So Australia doesn't actually have gun laws that require orange tips on guns to denote that they're toys, but we do often get toys from the same production run or the same importer as would go to America. That's why we have toy guns that have orange caps. There's no actual legal requirement for it in Australia. This was pointed out to HobbyLink Japan, who then backtracked and went, you know what, actually, we're not going to do that to Australia. It's fine. So if you're someone who prefers your figures mint in sealed box, you just dodged a bullet if you're ordering from HLJ. If you don't care, then it doesn't really matter either way. There was a post on the TCCA discussion group I saw this morning from someone who was very concerned that HLJ said that they were going to glue the cap into the figure, and the concern was over just exactly what a glued cap entails and how difficult it is to remove. I have to say, as the owner of a Make Toys Despotron, I don't know if they even put any glue on the cap on Despotron, because it just came straight out. It might be the same thing that HLJ will do. They might just put a little bit of silicone on it. I'd say if you're in the States, you probably don't have that much to worry about. But yeah, I don't recall Apollyon having a cap, but it was just one thing when that'll come up after seeing the transformation video during the week. Where the barrel goes into the silencer and that for the sniper mode, there's not a lot of room. It looked like a flush hole for it to go into, and to put an orange cap on there would pretty much eliminate your sniper mode for Megatron. Oh yeah, actually, no, you're probably right on that. I was actually wondering what you were talking about when you said that before the show. But yeah,
I'm not entirely crazy.
It is probably just intended that you would take that out if you are going to transform. I wouldn't
until you glue it.
No, but glue is not araldite, okay? Like it's fine. People say glue, but they might even just put a piece of blue tack in there. Who knows?
Worst case scenario, you just pretend it's a blast effect.
Yeah. Just grab the mouth fireball from Triptychon and just stick it on the front of the gun barrel, and you're done. What have you got there, Brad?
I went to take the end cap off this and took some of the barrel with it. So,
what was that? Was that just a cap gun?
Cap gun, yeah, cap gun.
Fair enough.
I get the plastic in the barrel is going to be more so stronger and more durable than what the caps are. So I'm sure you can snap them off, but yeah, you don't really want that glue and stuff on there. But anyway,
it's going to be fine.
It's Megatron.
Nobody actually glues these things into the point that they can't be removed. Like, they know that these figures are going to collectors. Should we move on? Let's move on.
Okay.
It's like you don't trust HobbyLink Japan because it's in Japan.
No, I just don't like this figure at all.
Okay, on that bombshell, it's time to move on and talk about Robots in Disguise Season 3. It looks like April 1st, which is actually this Saturday. Is it this Saturday? It is this Saturday. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow, our time. America, at least, is getting a new episode of Robots in Disguise. I say America, I kind of mean Canada. So, what's going to happen in this season of Robots in Disguise? By the way, it is officially Season 3. It's not the stupid thing where people call the second half of Season 2 Season 3. So we are seeing a slight change in name for Season 3 to Robots in Disguise Combiner Force, and we are seeing Bruticus illustrated there. He looks a lot more detailed than most of the RID characters. So excited.
He also has he's got some beautiful sunglasses.
He does, doesn't he?
Beautiful, darling.
Looks like he's Elton John of combiners.
I need to try and zoom in on this. How do I do this?
They look like Dame Ender, big triangle.
I'm going to open that. And
you deliberately made it small so you can't.
There we go. There's RID Bruticus. He's got the buggiest bug eyes since animated Swindle.
But then he's got the big Decepticon logo on a block in front of his face. Like, what's going on here?
That's why he's got the bug eyes. He needs like telescopic lenses to let him see over his Decepticon logo.
Yeah, the Motormaster part of this bot just, I don't know what's going on here. Like the torso, the apparent shark face on him, and the booger eye.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't transform into a truck anymore.
Yeah, but we got the figure coming though. We've seen the figures a couple of weeks ago from Toy Fair.
Haven't seen the Bruticus yet.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing Bruticus.
Sorry, that's Menasor. Yeah, not Onslaught. Yep, copy.
Yeah,
Still, there's enough color definition between the arms, the torso, a bit of red in there to break it up a bit, and some black detail. Like, don't expect the figure to look anything like this. It won't, but I can't wait to see the bot in a cartoon. We've got Bludgeons coming. We've got the return of Soundwave, Blur.
Soundwave's already back, isn't he? Was Soundwave back in the second half of season 2 when Starscream came back?
No, he come back in the first part of season 2 as a one-off episode from the Phantom Zone, Shadow Zone, and went straight back there.
It's the same thing. It's fine. Yeah, no, but that was Transformers Prime Soundwave. We know that the proper RID Soundwave won't look a thing like that.
But it's him coming back and taking a new form, new Earth mode.
Yeah, so he's got the same head sculpt.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's all connected. Yep.
Yes, it is, isn't it? So we are seeing also a report from TFW 2005 that this season will have 26 episodes in it. That's the same length as the past seasons, is it, or have they had slightly less?
I believe season 1 and 2 were 26, and then season 2.5 was a bit shorter. So this is a bit of a return to format. Season 2 was only about 12 or 13, and they had another 13 for 2.5. It wasn't.
Can we just stop with the season 2.5 being a separate season to season 2?
That's how everyone knows it.
It's season 2, for fuck's sake. So we have the same thing with Vikings on TV at the moment. You have season 4, which aired a year ago, and now they're calling it season 4B. No, it's the same production code. It's the same production code. It's made under the same bloody deal. Stop calling it 2.5. Don't let them have their cheaping out on producing one season a year. Good. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as a season 2.5. It's a stupid marketing. It's a stupid marketing term. It's the tail end of season 2, and season 2 thus had 26 episodes.
All right, no, the first half of season 2 had 13 episodes, and the second half of season 2 had 6 episodes. So you're looking at
6. Oh, so season 2 only had
19.
Right. Well, that's not what Max just said.
I'm on Netflix at the moment, and that's what the second half of season 2, as people know it to be 2.5, which was the Starscream Returning Chronicles, was 6 episodes, and it's here on Netflix as season 3, which is stupid. It's season 2, 9 episodes. Wrong. Yeah, same as Prime.
It would actually be nice if the people producing the series might actually just come out and say, "You guys are wrong."
Well, they cared.
Yeah. It might be nice if they cared.
They just relish in the chaos.
It might be that we actually care too much. It's our affliction. Okay, let's move on. What do we got coming up? There is a third-party roundup of figures coming out from a toy fair in China. Iron Factory is coming to the party with their Seekers. We can see Starscream, Thundercracker, and Sculpt. These look pretty nice. Wow,
looking very Combiner Wars in design.
He's dead on IDW.
I think what you find is that they're pretty much G1 and Generation Seekers in the torso, but I do agree. I think they're Combiner Wars in terms of the jet intakes next to the heads and the shoulder designs as well. But they do
Yeah,
seem
just
to be making them like mini masterpieces. You can see Thundercracker is holding a very large Megatron. Starscream has his coronation kit, and they look great. I'm really happy with those. And you can also see prototype cone heads in the background.
Yes, they don't look as big and bulky though. Maybe it's just because of the staging there behind the other characters. Yeah,
No, there's a reason they don't look big and bulky. It's because they're tiny. They're small. They're little guys. I'm very happy with those.
Has anyone put the Masterpiece Megatron gun in a Legends figure? I wonder if that's just a remold or a copy.
I don't think you can.
I haven't got it on hand.
So there's another
No, they
shot
definitely
of,
they look great. These look great. There's lots of posability. Paint looks good on them. Starscream with his coronation kit.
You sort of think that each of them needs a bit of a gimmick because Thundercracker seems to come with Megatron. Starscream has his coronation kit. What's Skywarp's gimmick?
His gimmick is that he doesn't come with one.
Yeah, he's too cool for gimmicks. There's another shot of Thundercracker. I think you can see more Combiner Wars than anything else in there. I think you're right with that, Brad. That's just
the torso, just the intakes on the pecs, the canopy in the middle, and just the angled bits on either side of the head. But that's where it stops because the legs are different, the wings behind it are different. I wonder if you'd make some sort of a reflector to go with Thundercracker and give the gun to Skywarp.
I'm actually wondering if they might remold these slightly and do G1 versions.
I know DX9 is doing the G1 versions of these.
So it'll be interesting to see DX9 and Iron Factory sort of go head to head then. There is also in this shot. I was just saying, in this shot, you can also see the black version of Pandanus behind him there. That's not Pandanus actually. Is that actually a black version of the? No, that's way too small to be Pandanus. Is that a black version of the Iron Factory Scorponok?
Both.
Yeah, very nice.
You got the black version, you got the green or the original version behind it. I'm going to say in city mode, but
now, Max, did you get this guy?
No, but I think I might have to spring for a black version. Even just looking at this, I think the colors actually look nicer than the massive Make Toys one.
Yeah,
on him, the gold is a bit dull in yellow, whereas this is a much more vibrant color.
He's hip thrusting a little bit.
There's another shot of Starscream there. That crown looks ridiculous, but the figure still looks awesome.
He's a ridiculous character. It's good. It's all good.
Yeah. So this one is another repaint of Make Toys. Actually, no, this is the Make Toys Power Master Optimus Prime. I think the cross dimension one, the Thunder Erebus,
which would be a Shadow Prime.
Power Master Prime. Yeah, he's a Nemesis Power Master Prime, I guess.
Yeah.
That is just artwork. I don't think
we haven't seen.
Well, there you go.
Oh, hello.
Now,
So
we haven't seen the original one, the proper Prime. They've just gone straight for Nemesis.
No, I think
we've seen artwork
that.
for it. We've seen artwork and a prototype image, and then the coloured version that we just looked at. That's a digibash of a prototype image for the normal Prime.
So just bear with this on this. This one's Thunder Erebus, and if you go back to this one, this is Thunder Manus. Now, Striker Manus was their normal Optimus Prime, so this one being Thunder Manus will be the normal Power Master Prime.
I love that alt mode.
It looks good. Make Toys cross dimension figures have been fantastic. I actually see a little bit more animated Ultra Magnus in that cab. It's a low flat.
Yeah.
Is this full size or is this Legends scale?
No,
this is Big Bastard.
Cross dimension is basically Voyager.
Big ones.
Yeah.
Well. Giggity.
This guy will probably be about the same size as your MP10 and whatnot. Given that he's going to stand a lot taller than the regulars.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like comparing
those shoulder pads.
Looking at the size of the Despotron, and then this guy's going to be a good couple heads taller than that. Should be around that size.
Yeah, fair enough. We shall see. I'm not sure when this guy's due for release. Anyway, let's move on. Let's not look at the back because that causes controversy this week. There's that. There's another photo of that. Open Play. Have we heard of Open Play before?
We have.
They showed us a teaser image of this guy, and that's all we've seen so far.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen color on it. Spring.
I kind of like that chest design on this Springer. He looks pretty good.
Oh yeah, if the build quality turns out, this would be a really solid, first release for the company.
Yeah, this was my pick of the third party Springers back in the day when they all hit the fan, hit the.
I think I recall that. I kind of feel like the alt modes both look a little bit too similar for my liking, but it's
the thing is, if you look at them, there's a lot moving around, but it doesn't achieve much.
Yes. Yeah, they've managed to make the canopy a little bit wider and flip up some panels on the front, and then whatever.
Well, it's got a false link in the middle of the panel, the middle of the canopy to widen it.
Yeah. Still think it looks pretty nice in bot mode. Maybe those legs might look a little bit plain. Not sure.
I just thought comparing to like Alan, it didn't have the Dinobot, the big legs.
Yeah,
that was my main focus because these are we're not going for masterpiece cars here. Like this is futuristic bots. You can take any shot of the movie and go off that, but I wasn't going off the alt modes. I was going solely off the bot mode, and I felt this was the best looking Springer out of them all. Now, I'm not currently going after movie bots, Magnus and Hot Rod I have, and that's where my movie collecting has stopped. I'm not going for Galvatron, Sweeps, or Autobots at this present time.
Fair enough. Let's move on. These guys are Toy World's Combaticons. So Toy World is coming out with their own Bruticus combiner. And are these the first two bots of it?
Sumo.
Looks like first ones we've seen in color, yeah.
I thought these were knockoffs. Okay.
No, Toy World's not a knockoff company.
No. I'd seen photos of these and I thought someone said they'll knock off something else. But anyway, yeah. Nice light piping on the head.
Yeah, I quite like the fact that they're doing light piping there. So, yeah.
I'm not sure about these guys, because I'm looking at the head sculpts and they look a bit elongated, and then you look at the sort of lower legs and lower arms; they're just sort of massive chunks. And then on just Blast Off, he's got like layers of panels just sticking off of those massive chunks as well. And then
here's a question for you: Toy World's Devastator figures. A lot of them had those fairly chunky, roided up dimensions. Have they carried that over to their Bruticus combiner? Because this guy certainly looks like he could have been a Combaticon in another life.
I don't think it was done as bad. A lot of those Constructicons sort of, yes, they had some bulk to them, but that sort of mirrored what was in the cartoon. This Vortex. I'm getting a big 07 movie vibe off Blackout for his backpack. But then just the bulk on his lower arms and his calves are just... I don't know what's going on here.
I think it's fair to say to regard these figures with some suspicion, and we'll move on.
The thing is, on the Devastator, the bulk was a bit more muted, and
it is Blackout.
Yeah,
God damn it!
They pushed it up a bit on this guy, on these ones, but it doesn't really fit in with the aesthetic of these two figures.
Vortex isn't a Blackout mold. It's not a Sea King. I don't. Oh, what is happening?
Let's move on. There's another Jazz. Who's this one? This is Toy World Coolsville. Actually, this is a Jazz that I might be able to get behind. We'll see. I do have the Generations Toy Jazz already, but still interesting.
This is one I've pre-ordered.
It's only the shot for him. Only the one shot. Toy World also has a Superion combiner coming as well, because they did so well with one combiner. Now they're going to tackle all of them. Here's a shot of a couple of the limbs. They look suitably large and chunky in their combined state, so fair enough. Those aerial bots actually look pretty nice as their alt modes. Look at that.
They do look very good.
Skydive has a massive chunk of robot underneath him.
I think they all do, don't they?
Which I suppose is true to form.
Yeah.
Well, they only got to stand up, and that's where the sort of third party going, well, let's cater to the G1ers and just go full out G1, and that's what they're doing here.
Yeah, I suppose so.
That's essentially what they're doing. And then, right, we're going to have the bot stand it up. You're going to have it completely posable, not just an arm on a swivel hinge. And why would you ask for more? Again, what Autobots? Aeroplanes, not ninjas.
Yeah, fair enough.
Here we go.
I mean, I don't think these look perfect, but they're definitely better than those Combaticons that they revealed.
And better than Uranus, too.
Let's move on. These are the X-Transbots, Trailbreakers, and Hoist. And they come with a lot of accessories, as you can see there. That's looks impressive enough. I am the proud owner of Ocular Max, Terrigus, and Artifacts. I'm not super interested in these, but they do look nice.
Yeah, the thing with the accessories is that sure, there's a lot of options, but where are you going to put all that crap? And how often are you going to use it?
Probably in its box.
Yeah.
Plus, they're making up for the fact that these bots look like shit. Jason, you said you had these?
No, I have the Ocular Max ones.
Oh, even better. Yeah, they look like shit.
I'm not going to say the bots look like shit, but their legs.
That head.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of what they've done with the legs there.
The legs, the head, the hips been just.
Look, I think it's actually fair to say that X-Transbots has been a bit hit and miss. They impressed everyone with Apollyon and sort of smashed that out of the park. But I think since then their stuff has been a bit.
I'll say they went
quality.
They went pretty good into the sweeps, but again, being a complete G1 Seeker shell former, that's real easy to do. They've had to go back now and do something difficult. Have you got Argos, haven't you, or Aragos, whatever the beachcomber is?
Yeah, I've got their beachcomber.
Yeah,
he looks pretty good. I like him.
All accounts, the mini bots they've done are pretty good figures. It's just going to this. Their attempt at Inferno is just, if you've pre-ordered, brought that, I'd love to hear your feedback. But from what I've seen,
do you mean if someone's pre-ordered or bought it?
God, thank you, Jason. That
if you cannot say what you mean, you can never mean what you say.
If you've handed money over for it, then let us know, because I don't know how you can go that over the other options. I'd buy the Takara one over that any day. But anyway,
all right, we're going to move on. We did allude to this figure earlier. This is one of Max's choices for stories. Iron Factory's Lord Scorpion, which is an homage to Black Zarak. We saw him in some of the photos before, but we're going to look at their. It's fair to say these are essentially press photos, but wow, look at that guy! How tall is this?
I believe it was 18 centimeters.
Oh yeah, so good 2/3 of a foot. It's probably the largest figure that Iron Factory's produced. So fair enough, they're going to milk him and repaint him a couple of times, right?
So it should be for a city bot too.
Yeah, and I'm honestly surprised at just how good they've gotten this guy looking.
I'm kind of not. I expect them. I expect these guys to look good. I expect Iron Factory to do a good job these days. They have been consistently good with their figures.
I suppose so. Like this just looks phenomenal. I'm loving the proportions on it. Sort of these massive, sweeping arms and legs.
And let's not forget he has a tiny headmaster.
Oh god, that gets me excited. Just having that little gimmick there, sort of just on such a small scale, that works so much better than it should.
Do you guys reckon that they've? Do you guys reckon that they've photographed this guy on carpet as like a bit of a hello to 6-0? Sixo's Twitter profile does self-identify as owner of possibly one of the world's most famous pieces of carpet.
I thought that honor went to Joel Freeman.
Yes, this is true. So, actually, as someone who pays attention to this thing, I actually really like the job they've done on lighting this guy on their photographic texture. I think the light in the background looks really good. I may have to try some of this for my own photos. There he is in. He's not really much of a city mode. He's more of a weapons platform mode.
Oh, what a weapons platform, though.
Yeah.
Almost like the Make Toys temple mode.
Yeah, I'd call it either a
Right.
temple. Yeah, I'd call it a temple or a throne mode. Yes,
I do love what they've done with scorpion legs and curling up around the bottom.
Yeah, he's like a dead spider. There's the bottom mode, and there's the Iron Man pose, because every third-party figure has to be able to do that. Otherwise, they are actually little known fact, little Uber fact for you. If a third-party figure can't carry out this pose, it's actually not allowed to be exported from China. There you go. Bet you didn't know that.
I'd say it's a KO and not a third party, but I know a lot of KOs can do it as well. So
yeah, but they fall apart afterwards.
They can't stand up. He's locked.
I mean, I do feel that there's some merit to that pose, just because it does really help showcase sort of a range of articulation on a figure.
It does. It's just that there's better ways to demonstrate that articulation now, other than copying every single manga movie. And it's, people often call it the Iron Man pose, but Iron Man copies it as well.
Oh, it happened long before that.
Okay, we're going to move on to possibly the. Brad likes to throw in statues and this is a statue. It's just a lamp. I'm assuming you put this one in, Brad. This is the Generation 1 Unicron lamp. This guy actually looks amazing. He's a table lamp. We've got lights all over the place. And what was the price that you found for importing it?
My PC doing it for 800 shipped. We couldn't do it for cheaper. So PC is your goal, your place to get this.
By PC, you do of course mean premium collectibles.
Premium collectibles. 72 light up LEDs.
And even comes with a free Rodimus Prime you can burn if you'd like to.
Yep. Plugs into the wall, not battery powered, because batteries were not powered this thing for more than an hour.
I don't know about that. They're just LEDs, but whatever.
Yeah,
it's a lamp. Of course, it plugs into the wall.
Yeah, we've seen production images of this before, and these in-hand images. I wish there was at least one shot with the lights off.
Hell, that looks great. Oh wow. Yeah. No, I'm
turn the bedroom light off. That. Yeah. And I just love the base. Like, he's standing on Cybertron, and it's in flames. It's awesome.
I've got a sneaking suspicion that this was made by someone who just wanted to do a Unicron statue, but they could only get a license to do a lamp, so they just put a shit ton of LEDs on it.
Maybe. You know what I think is funny, actually? You said he's standing on Cybertron and it's in flames. Wouldn't the flames actually make sense to light up?
Yeah. That's more LEDs.
LEDs are not expensive. I'm just going to point that out. Also,
I know.
It's kind of weird. He's got a Decepticon logo on his base, but whatevs.
But even if he transformed, as long as those wires were hidden, you could still get this whole light up feature in a transform.
So speaking of him transforming, when we saw this originally a couple of months ago, wasn't there also a second version that was actually in planet mode?
Yes.
Where's that?
Yes, there was that. I don't know. That must be the second run that hasn't been announced yet. Yeah, we get this crappy hot rod that comes with it.
That I really do like that. Yeah, look, if I'm honest, I could probably do with the panels not actually being lined in black. I could do with them being sort of a darker version of their main texture, because I feel like the black brings out a little too much in it, but yeah, fair enough.
The panel lining's just sort of, it goes a bit too far because he's got nice little subtle shading going out from those lines in addition to those panel lines. So he could do without that and still look really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyone buying this guy? Anyone got more money than God?
No.
All right. Now we're going to go to a new segment that we haven't done this week. Max, look, you and I both enjoy the IDW comics, but you read them far more. You're far more up to date with them than me. So I think you want to talk about Transformers Lost Light number 4 and Till All Are One number 8. So I'm not gonna get in your way. Feel free to go and do it. Tell us what you think of these comics.
Yes.
First of all, have you bought them on Comixology or have you bought the actual issues?
Till All Are One on Comixology. Lost Light 4, I've got the actual issue of.
Do you just collect all the Lost Light actual issues because it's Lost Light?
Yes, it's just one of those series that I have to have every single floppy. Right.
You have to have every single floppy. Go on. Do feel free to tell us about the floppies, but yes.
Floppies, the term for just the individual single releases of comic books.
They're usually called single issues, but yes. Go on, tell us about the 2 floppies that you've released that were released this week, or whichever ones you want to talk about.
And now only one of them was a floppy. Right, so we got Lost Light 4 and Till All Are One issue 8. I'm not going to spoil anything, but this is a good bloody week for comics. Great one to start off with. Have you guys cut out? Yeah, hold on. I think my audio's gone.
Really? No, you're still here.
Okay, sorry. Everything just sort of cut out for a second. Right. Yeah, really great.
Go for it, man.
Yeah, really great week of stuff. In Lost Light, I'm not going to spoil too much, but there's a lot of character building in this one, especially, there's sort of a main plot on the Functionist universe, but we also got some great character development with Whirl and Cyclonus. And then back in the main storyline, there's also Megatron is having more character development in the sort of reboot of this series than I think he's had so far. He was really the focal point of Marvel Meets the Eye, and now he's starting to return to that role, and it's going really nicely.
Is he still an Autobot?
Yeah, he's still an Autobot, and constant allusions to, he's going to change back or not. But, but he does have, slight spoiler here. He does have a great little moment with Magnus where sort of Magnus indicates to him that he doesn't believe that, Megatron's going back to his old ways. And the people he surrounds himself with, like his mentor, Terminus, people are starting to see him as more of a heroic figure, even if he isn't necessarily seeing it himself. And it's really a great dynamic to read. In that issue, there's 2 cliffhangers from each of the 2 main plot threads going on. One of them, it's like, okay, this will be cool to see how it goes. And then the other one, I can't spoil anything about this, but you look at this last set of panels and you just go, oh shit, this isn't going to end well at all. So yeah, this one will, and so I get the feeling that in the coming issues, there's going to be some heavy stuff going down for long-time readers.
I have a friend who basically every time, in fact, she's in the TCCA discussion group. Every time a new issue of Lost Light or More Than Meets the Eye comes out, she basically just yells at James on Twitter.
Seems to be a fair few people who do that. He seems like a busy man.
Yeah.
And we also have Till All Are One issue 8. Obviously this series not quite as good as Lost Light. I don't think anyone's going to dispute that, but still probably the second best one that's in the out of any of the sort of Hasbro universe stuff IDW is putting out right now, at least in my opinion. Again, not going to spoil anything because this one's really, even more so than Lost Light, this is really heavy in, big reveals, everything.
So Till All I Want is set on Earth, and It has. So I'm only up to like issue 2 or 3. It has actually featured Junkions returning, or was that Optimus Prime?
That's Optimus Prime.
I
Is sort of a
can't tell the
replacement.
difference between them clearly. I'm sorry. So yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah, Optimus Prime and Tallulah 1 replaced his previous Robots in Disguise book.
So is Tallulah 1 on Cybertron or on Earth?
It's on Cybertron, and right now it started off with a big long plot thread about the Combaticons, and now, you know how Titans Return was like, oh, Sentinel Prime sending all these Titans to Cybertron, and then that never actually happened in the series. Well, now that's basically the main driving force of the Tallulah 1 plotline.
Oh.
But to be honest, there's sort of something to punch. You know, it's this big threat, but it's really being driven by the politics between, you know, the different representatives on the council on Cybertron, and it gets deeper into sort of the previous ancient lore than I think it has so far. So if you're looking for something that's gonna, you know, sort of throw a few things out there, they're gonna surprise you, then this is an issue to pick up.
Cool. Sounds good. Now we did get a look at IDW's June solicitations this week as well. What have we got? We have Transformers Salvation, which is going to be the it's the latest sort of. Is it a mini series or is it just a one shot?
This will be a one shot, so it looks like it's an end to the sort of trilogy of the Dinobot series. So I think it was Punishment and Redemption, it says, for the first two, where sort of it's about the Dinobots finding their way in post-war Cybertron. And in Redemption, there was a little tease of Trypticon, as you know, they were sort of driving over sort of the wastelands of Cybertron, and then it pans out, and you see that they're actually driving over a frozen over Trypticon. And so it looks like the main point behind the plot line in Salvation is going to be Dinobots versus Trypticon, which I can't imagine being anything less than awesome.
Cool. Now I'm gonna stop going through these solicitations on screen and stuff because they're just they're laden with spoilers, and we're trying not to spoil people. But we are in June. We are expecting to see Tallulah 1 number 11, Revolutionaries number 7, and Lost Light number 7. As well as Optimus Prime number 8. There's a few other things that IDW is putting out to link their Hasbro universes together with the trade paperback of Revolutionaries, and there's also going to be the collected trade paperback of Tallulah 1. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure that looking ahead to solicitations is actually that useful. What do you guys think?
Look, maybe I'll ask listeners if people think that's a good thing. Comment on Brad's post in the group, but with the link to the YouTube video.
Yep. Yep.
And if you don't like it, then we'll stop doing it.
All right. What do we got? What do we got left to talk about? We are all back on camera after all, so let's talk about. We have a couple of main discussion points to bring up, but they're not necessarily going to actually go on for that long. We did talk a little bit last week about how Bill actually pointed out that he opens his third-party bots. Bill is well known as being a mint and sealed box collector, possibly even collecting multiple versions or multiple copies of the same figure. But he opens his third-party bots because they're not really going to be worth that much in comparison to the official bots. So Dean Hillman picked this up in the TCCA discussion group, and he made a couple of interesting points about whether or not he opens G1 figures and how he sees the value of third-party figures. And Brad, you also pointed out that some third-party figures do climb to astronomical heights. Do you want to pick that up?
There's been some weird, wonderful third-party figures going to insane prices before. The classic is Fence Toys Quakewave, where post his release, he was going for the asking price of up to $1,000.
I saw someone
sales
hand over $600 for a Quake Wave. I'm
yeah,
fairly sure I
think
did
some
see
of
that.
the actual sales, complete listings were up over the $500-600 mark, and that's, you got to understand the times. I was saying it back then too, around episode in the 30s of Off the Shelf, that there wasn't much focus or much hope for a Takara Shockwave, and everyone was going after the next best thing, which was that. Since then, Cloud9 come in with their Quakewave knockoff, which did do a couple of improvements, and I do like that figure apart from the dark purple.
Since you bring it up, we actually did see a couple of new versions of Cloud9's Quake Blast this week.
I was going to say, yeah, they've brought out the grey one.
Clear purple, and the grey one, which is being referred to as Shockwave.
And I'm definitely all on board for that. I want to get that figure.
I mean, it's an interesting idea because I still think MP Shockwave's the best out of a bunch. But I know he's a very decisive figure. I mean, divisive figure, as Brad happily tell anyone.
That, Brad? It seemed like you might have gotten something stuck in your throat there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It might have been a masterpiece Megatron.
I thought I said bullshit.
Yes, that's right. If you are going to say it, you may as well own it.
Yeah, I'll own it. But that's fine. You know, your money, your call. Go for it.
Yeah, exactly. And with these more versions of a Cloud9 one coming out, means that, while people were very divided as to Quake Wave, Shockwave. So just having these a bit more options is I think it's gonna make a lot more collectors happy.
It's a gamble, because have Takara release Shockwave as Shockwave, that's the only use they've got planned for the mold. Is there going to be a air quote Shockwave?
I reckon there'll be the grey coloured one is Shockwave actually a Diaclone toy or one of their original lines, or?
Yeah, it was.
Actually, no. It was Shockwave was actually brought in from another line, wasn't it?
Yeah, same sort of deal as
it was.
Roadbuster and whatnot. It was.
Yeah, because mine's grey.
I forget the name.
I've got an air quotes G1 Shockwave and it's grey. That's not.
No, you don't actually have a G1 Shockwave.
No, it's not. But it's still got light function. The figure itself is exactly the same apart from colour. I thought we would. So
actually, the history of Shockwave's G1 toy is actually really quite interesting. If you look at where it came from and where it's been used and how there's been cheaper versions of it made that sort of don't have legs that split apart and stuff. I've looked at that story a couple of times over the years on places like TF Wiki. Hey?
What a shitty bot if its legs don't come apart.
No, it's like I'm pretty sure that they used to actually give away a cheap version of it in show bags at the Royal Melbourne show, the Brisbane show, whichever's. I'm pretty sure I got one from there as a kid. Well,
they got some cheap versions of them for some certain movie props to fill scenes, fill sets.
Yes, true. Yeah, we have that is one of the more alien-looking guns that can, in fact, be painted over and used in other things. Just to try and bring us back to the discussion point, Sean Howard asked whether or not we think keeping a toy mint in sealed box is the only purpose of that investment, or is there more to it?
I suppose the only reason of it, I'd never buy a new thing and then be like, right, I'm going to keep this in a box because it's going to be rare later. I know people do that, but it's just, I can't bother just having something sitting around for ages. The only time when I'd leave something in a box is if you've managed to track down like a cheap old G1 figure or some other old 80s line.
I can tell you right now, if you track down a cheap G1 figure, it won't be in a box.
Good point.
Cheap for one that's in a box.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
if you wouldn't
buy
it from Yeah, if you find it outside the community, I'll add to that. If you garage sale, wherever, if you find something mint in box, God help you, then yeah, there's that. But I think go Max. Blank.
Right.
I'm logged.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I think this has turned into an end point.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. No. Yes. I suppose you don't want to open it because I guess it's sort of just it's a sort of a moral. It's not a moral thing, but like it's on a matter of principle. You think, okay, well, we're gonna want to probably buy a mint and sealed box one at some point, and you feel like you're just taking stuff out from the market if you open that sort of thing.
Okay, but then it all depends too. Like if you're going for G1 figures, you're going for mint and sealed box. If you're a mint and sealed box collector, then that's one thing. If you're buying figures, I do know there are people that will go like. You look at general special last 2 years that we've been doing the show, or the old show, third-party figures, even Takara figures, unless they're a reissue item, their price has held or increased since release.
I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure that that's true. Someone asked a question in the discussion group today about the G1 Encore Megatron, about the purchase price of him mint and sealed box. My first thing that I did when I saw that question was I went over to Carousel, searched in Singapore where a lot of people sell on Carousel for Encore Megatron, and found the first listing I found there was listed as $80 as new mint and sealed box.
Wow.
Brad's going to Carousel soon.
Go.
It's all right. I'm going to Singapore in a couple of months, Brad. I'll bring you one back.
I don't need a G1. I've got a G1 Megatron. I don't need a mint box. Actually, I've got the box somewhere. I've got. Well, I'll put it back in the box. It'll be mint in box one, but
so it's a back in box.
Well,
that's mint in box.
Back in box. Well, that's the thing. And so G1, okay, well, we can go after that or get back to third party Masterpiece. Like a lot of. Even Masterpiece, initial 1 or 2 years after a Masterpiece release, before a reissue is announced, they'll hold or increase price.
Yeah, I think it's actually interesting that a lot of the mini bots, not the mini bots, but the Autobot cars, their prices have really tumbled in the last couple of years. I've seen sales where you can actually get 3 Masterpieces for $100.
But wouldn't that be more to production, not quantity out there?
Yeah,
like
but
those...
what I'm saying is that their prices don't always go up. I think there are some figures like Ultra Magnus where they did, and then they've reissued Ultra Magnus and they've brought the price down.
Yeah, Ultra Magnus you can get pretty easily for under $200.
So for all of this,
Citizen Stack's 110.
Yeah, the Citizen Stack also doesn't look a thing like Ultra Magnus, so I don't really know what the point is.
It's a perfect Ultra Magnus.
It's really not, and you're kind of deluding yourself.
I'm deluded.
says the guy with the giant Transformers Weekly poster behind him. It's fine. So look, to bring it back to the point, the question I asked that set us off on that tangent was, is it an investment thing? And I think I kind of feel like sometimes it is, and sometimes it might be that that's how you display your figures. I think if you're just buying them and throwing them into storage, I don't know that that's necessarily the choice that you make in terms of whether or not you open your box and display them, or if you keep them in box. I've seen like some collectors, like Simon. He has a lot of mint and sealed box. He actually has the boxes on display in his display cabinet, and that makes his cabinet really interesting to look at. It's really quite impressive. But maybe it's a case of if you actually have the collection already that can rock that look, then great. And maybe if you're buying Transformers for the sake of bringing them out and playing with them, that's fine too. Ultimately, no one's going to
Well-
tell you that you're doing the wrong thing. I guess it's just a question of how people do it and how they rationalize whether or not they open those boxes.
Yep. And Kieran posted in that comment too that he buys the figures. He hasn't got anywhere to put them, so they stay in their box and get stored away. Well, that's just necessity. You're not making a deliberate decision. Oh,
That's
okay,
what I just said.
yeah. Okay.
It's fine. You can edit that part out.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next discussion point, because I don't know that we can necessarily add that much more to this.
All right.
Okay.
Done.
I am going to bring this image up. There we go. How do you display your bots? Do you spend all your money on your toys and then just buy bookshelves at the cheapest possible price? Or do you do something else? Brad, I got to say, I think you're possibly the person who's spent the most on their display cabinets. Although I think maybe Dylan might give you a run for your money on that front, because of he's actually built a shed.
This display, not enclosure.
Dylan built a shed and populated it with IKEA Detolfs. You've got those fragrance display cabinets that you picked up from Gumtree, and like I said, I think you're possibly the person I know who's spent the most on his display solution.
I got 6 of them at $300 a pop. So,
oh my goodness, I didn't realize it was $300 a pop.
Wow. Wait a minute, 6. No, sorry, 800 for the 6.
Okay, that's
much
a
more
lot better.
agreeable.
That's better. Yeah. But I've only got 2 in here. The other 4, the rest of them out in the shed. I really need to get the shed finished.
I am trying to figure out how I'm going to. So I'm moving out of this room and I'm going to be back in the study like I was for some of the original episodes of Off the Shelf. But I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for my Transformers display down there, because I don't want to just go with Kallax shelves. You can see what I've done to my Kallaxes behind me. I see you've done sort of similar with yours, Max, as well. I find the constraints of originally I loved having that minimal area where I had this single space and I put a masterpiece figure in there. My collection isn't all masterpieces anymore, and it's a little bit more complicated than that now. So I'm more interested in a wider display, something that I can actually do something with bots. I don't want to put my bots just on a shelf in a straight up, boring pose like this guy has. No offense to whoever this guy is, but I do want to put up I do want to put my bots up in some slightly more dynamic poses. I want to put them in some groupings that make sense to me. Maybe putting some fighting teams together like Wreckers or something. I want more options, and literally every day the question runs through my mind: should I get a wood textured shelf like this? Should I get a white shelf? Should I have glass shelves? What color backing should I have? I don't know. I haven't seen anything where I can look at it and just go, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I want for this collection. And it kind of troubles me. I feel like I need to spend a lot more time looking at Gumtree, but I feel like if I start doing that, I'll scroll back far enough in Gumtree that I'll be looking at things that were listed about 4 years ago, and they won't be available anymore. But then if I look at it once, I'm going to get sick and tired of it, and then I won't look at the listings again for months. So maybe if I look every 4 years, it'll make sense. There's just
There's certainly a black hole.
I need to make a decision. Yeah,
and it's like going off what you're saying with your display. Like Leonard Tanner again saw those cubes.
Leonard's got some really nice displays now.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but just like showcasing the single figure, not all grouped together like this.
Do you know ultimately why I've had to stop doing it? It's because I've got too many figures.
Exactly, and that's what happens. Collections grow. What you have on display grows. I don't think going for the, and I'm air quoting here for the audio listeners, DTOF or the Audi DTOF style cabinets is a good way to have your figures. Yes, you can display them, you can lock them behind glass, but you can still only put the 1 or 2 bots on each shelf, and that's it.
Yeah, I think the depth of the Kallax and possibly the depth of the DTOFs is what really stops me from going out and buying a lot of them. I think, if there was a half width DTOF or half depth that was the same square size and shape, but only half as deep, so you could maybe spend a little bit more money on getting more of them to line your cabinet. Ultimately, I kind of feel like if I'm looking for that, I might actually be looking for something like a Billy bookcase with glass doors on the front.
But you can cheat. You can cheat because I know Dylan, he might not have done it now, but when he was installing those DTOFs and talking to him, he was going to have every second one remove the center glass, so you've got a double DTOF side by side.
Yeah, but if you're going to do that, you may as well just buy the double DTOF from Fantastic Furniture. Yeah. Like, it's literally double the price of a DTOF, and they've saved you the effort of removing the glass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Max. What have you got on your displays there? I know you've got your Kallaxes there, but I think that I also saw. Did I also see a DTOF somewhere in there?
Yeah. So I've basically got Kallaxes behind me, which I've done what you've done, where I've separated it up a bit. So I've taken out one of the panels and used that to get a wider display for the Star Wars Imperial troops. And then right next to me, there's 2 DTOFs, which I just added the other week. And then other than that, I've also got a CD rack going. I've just got a bunch of little mini displays.
Little guys in there. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I kind of feel like if I had some Billies that would I'd have glass doors on, I could actually use the Billy CD shelves on the side for smaller bots as well. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. Yeah,
it works surprisingly well because I've got like little third-party pocket scale figures on one shelf. Got 1/18 scale Marvel guys on another. Lots of little Halo figures below that, because you can get just sort of little displays going, and it all fits in there really nicely.
Yeah. So, do you think that you cheap out on the displays, or is it that you haven't found the thing that you want to spend a lot of money on yet?
Oh, absolutely. Like all these displays behind me, those are all secondhand. The only ones I bought brand new are the DTOFs, and those I just got them when they were on sale. I pretty much, the vast majority of money I spend goes towards figures.
All right. Speaking of money you spend going towards figures, before we bring the podcast to an end, let's talk about some new toys. Brad, you've got some new toys. In fact, we all have new toys this week. Brad, do you want to go first?
I'll just stop presenting this to everyone. There we go. I'll start with the better one that came out. Make Toys Hellfire.
Very nice.
I just need to be able to see. Yes, just the detail on him. Bot mode, alt mode. He's got the ladder. I'm all for the toy. G1 toy. The cartoon accuracy changes from episode to episode, so I'm not going after figures dedicated on that. But I just love the way he looks, and grapple as well. Good robot mode. Plenty of ankle articulation. Well, I'll go that way, not that way. Again, his erect crane does not bend in half like Takara's version, which I still don't know what the hell that's about.
how much does that factor into you? Because I think the thing that decided for me to get it to Takara versions is being able to fold in that massive assembly into a chest. So how do you? Does that bother you?
I'm not talking about making that disappear. I'm talking about making it bend in the middle, that the Takara one does. But I'm going after toy. At Supernova, I'll have the G1 toy. I'll have it stand next to this, and it looks perfect next to this. The Takara version does not look good standing next to the G1 figure, and that's just the way the way I display them, the way I want them, and the way I collect them. I've seen the engineering both for Inferno and Grapple for Takara, the way they fold away, and it looks good. I won't deny that, but it's not what I want in the collection. I've tasted better meals in the original G1 or the original Masterpiece line, and at the moment the food tastes shit. So
fair enough.
That's one way to put it.
Fair enough. So basically, Brad, your new acquisitions are Make Toys Hellfire, Make Toys Wrestle, and PS Fuck You, everyone else.
No, Takara.
All right, Max, do you want to go on with yours?
Right. So, yes, I would love to. Thank you. So, over last weekend, there was another local trade day / get together where you met up with a bunch of local guys. And speaking of a devil, Dylan, I picked up a whole bunch of G1 stuff, mostly parts, and includes a lot of parts for Menasor here. So I'm thinking at this point I've got everything except for Crossblade. Yeah. But it means I can finally have him displayed in combined mode on the shelf, which is a really oddly satisfying thing.
Turn the legs around.
Yeah, they're all in the wrong configuration, but that's because it doesn't hold together well enough otherwise. Like, it's very old and flimsy.
Sounds like G1. Yep.
Yeah. It's a bit more satisfying.
Sounds like you on a Friday night, Brad.
No, Saturday night.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a bit more satisfying. Sort of putting.
It's a bit more satisfying than Brad on a Saturday night. Fair enough.
Nothing's more satisfying than Brad on a Saturday night. No, because instead of just buying 5 different figures, you go through this process of going to different trade days, shopping online, and getting all these different little parts for things, and eventually put it together. And
I think you get the similar. I mean, you do get a similar buzz if you actually manage to complete a collection as well. You do go out and put all of those pieces together. You buy them from different places. The one thing that I think is something to be a little bit careful of with what's essentially a Frankenformer is there are people out there who will do that, and they'll put all of those pieces together and they'll go, this is an original G1 Devastator. And I'm like, well, no, it's not. Like, you've got encore parts on there, you've got all sorts of things, and things might not be right with the boxes as well. So I find it, you just need to be a little bit careful, and you need to remember, we keep talking about remembering the state of your collections and cataloging them. You need to remember, if you've cobbled parts together and you go to sell it later, that it is actually cobbled together. Yeah,
like I know, for instance, my G1 Magnus has got the reissue missile pods on him, which look dumb as all hell, but that's what he's got. And then also I sort of did bulk buy with Guy Blocklow off of Dylan. He was selling a bunch of little Micromasters and whatnot. So I picked up.
I need to get my Micromasters out. I'm gonna try and do that this week.
Oh, they're just wonderful. They're the epitome of everything that's awesome about G1. So they've got Stakeout, Hyperdrive, and Fix It. Stakeout was like one of the first Transformers I ever owned, and lost him years ago. So it's nice to have a proper one of him again now.
Yeah, I think I've got the same problem too.
Yeah, Fix It. I just like the character, and so I had to have that. And then Hyperdrive.
He doesn't stammer either.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is Fix It's old man? Is he an ambulance?
He's pretty much just think tiny first aid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not sure how it's going to show up, but
Yeah.
yeah, you can see that.
Fun fact, I always thought the red
you just-
version was Ironhide, and I had that figure.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that at the time when MicroMasters were out, they did sort of pretend that they were the larger characters.
Because they look better than the originals.
Yeah. I mean, Ironhide, G1 Ironhide doesn't have a face. Come on.
Oh, Ratchet, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this is a better Ratchet than G1 Ratchet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in Hyperdrive, that finishes off my Decepticon Sports Car Patrol, which is, probably the main reason why I love MicroMasters is because of those characters. And also, got all of these for $10. WST Red Alert.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
That
It's the first WST I've owned. Might be a KO, but regardless, he's really nice. But it looks great from the front on, but if I turn him sideways, you can see just how far forward the head sits.
Yeah,
But
but yeah,
just
like
looking at
it's a like 1 and a bit inch tall G1 transformer. So let's not worry about it too much. Huh?
Yeah, he's MicroMaster size.
Yeah.
So,
Drop
I'm not going to complain.
Drop it on the ground. If it bounces an inch high, it's a KO.
Right.
Max just looked at his floor too.
This spoiler came off.
Oh dear. No, don't worry about that.
It's not.
Those
It's
things
not
come
broken.
apart like anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not broken,
But
but
yes,
now I'm not
he
sure if it's a
didn't
KO or
bounce.
if it's worth anything.
Yeah. No, he didn't bounce and didn't break, so I'm gonna think it's legit.
World's smallest jigsaw puzzle.
And so they actually are. I had one come apart, and it actually took me a while to figure out how to put it back together.
Oh, that's a shame.
And
Might as well
and
be
it
a
was red alert
model
as
kit.
well. It was red
Oh
alert.
no. Poor Lambo mold.
Yeah, this
Crap.
guy falls apart really easily. Like I can just pull bits off him. Like there we go. There's the roof.
Yeah.
There
But
you go, just pull an arm
all
off.
WSCs do that. I think possibly the one that I know that doesn't do that might be Optimus Prime, but yeah. Like the Seekers just pull to pieces. The legs just come straight off them.
And
That's
so
a
pretty.
shame.
I mean, at least they're accurate to G1 in that way.
They are quite accurate, the figures. I believe the original release of World's Smallest Megatron was actually accurate enough to the point that you couldn't actually transform it properly.
Wow. Right. And then finally, met up at the same day. I met up with Samuel Tatt, the SA rep, and picked up Generation Toys
Former.
Mega Sorry.
Oh, very nice.
Format,
Yeah. Very nice. Are all the Megasaurus clear, or is that?
Yeah, so they're doing a standard release of him called Tyrant, which is just their Legend scale Megatron model kit. But they put this one out early as like sort of a way of saying sorry.
Apology for being
because-
so late.
Yeah, for being late with their releases. And it's a really nice little figure. I've got the oversized DX9 Legend scale Tyrant on order. It's going to have like a nice little thing going of this will be sort of Megatron reformatting into Galvatron.
Yeah, cool, nice.
Yeah,
It's a really nice little mold. Transformation is a bit finicky, but by and large, it's another excellent sort of pocket scale third party figure.
Yeah, look. I think it's been the story of some of the third parties for the last year is that some of them are really hitting it out of the park on small figures, and it's just another example of it.
Yeah, it's sort of this niche market that exploded and has been churning out just constantly good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the opposite way from your super small figures to this guy. If Brad turns on my camera,
Done.
at some point. There we go. Great. Apparently now I'm presenting to everyone. So I was fortunate enough to pick up an MMC Carnifex, and there goes his leg bending there. I was fortunate enough to pick up an MMC Carnifex this week. He is, of course, an IDW More Than Meets the Eye style overlord. I haven't put his crazy face on yet, kind of because I haven't quite figured out how to pop his head off, and I'm not sure whether I just need to use brute force or not. But I got to say,
I tried using brute force and it got stress marks. Just unscrew it.
Oh.
how do I unscrew it? Tell me. Oh,
There's a screw on the back of the head.
No, there's not.
Really?
The panel.
Maybe. Oh, there it is. Yes, it's a tiny screw inside under the back of the helmet. Okay, yeah, cool. Good. I'm glad I didn't proceed with that that forcible removal of the head. I do actually want to put his crazy face on, but I just thought it was good to leave him originally in just more standard angry don't fuck with me mode. So yeah, no, very, very happy with the guy. He's huge. Purchased him from Chris at Collector's Drift, and this was originally slated to be a second run release of Carnifex, but I haven't actually seen people receiving their second run figures. So I have a feeling that I might have gotten a first run that they might have sent him to fulfill some of his orders. So yeah, but yeah, very happy.
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how the whole second run thing was going, because I know I pre-ordered the second runs of Cold War, and then they immediately shipped. So I guess they're just putting out the first runs. Maybe
there's no official second run. It's just, there'll be additional production runs. We've heard that there's going to be multiple runs of Tarn later in the year as well. So yeah, very happy with Carnifex and Overlord. And my other acquisitions for the week are still boxed because I haven't opened them up. I managed to get my Wave 3 Deluxe figures and for Titan's Return. Happy with them. I've got the other guys somewhere. They're somewhere on my shelf. But I'm going to open them up and pose them up with those guys as well. Like, I've got no problem putting the Titans Deluxes on my shelf.
Yeah, they're everywhere over here. Those ones.
Yeah, they have been. Look, they've been out in Australia for quite a while. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't necessarily want to go into whether or not people are being too impatient with some certain online retailers with their orders or not. But yeah,
that's a rabbit hole we're not going down.
Yeah. It's not, because that's so. Look, to be fair, I mean, anyone who hangs out in the discussion group will see there is a thread discussing premium collectibles order deliveries regularly. Premium did update this week and said that they are sending out the last 5% of the orders for Wave 3. I ordered Wave 3 from Premium very, very recently, so I think I'm like the last order that they must have had for Wave 3. So I'm fine with the time it took to get it. They've come out at $20 a piece. So yeah, short of the accidental $15 deluxe sale from Target late last year, you're not going to find them that much cheaper.
No.
So yeah,
I'm waiting for a sale. Come on, have a sale. Let's do it.
It's been a while.
I've got some ROD figures I want to
buy. Which ones do you want to buy?
All of them.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I want a Quillfire.
Quillfire does look good.
Apparently Scorponok's the one to get.
Yeah, Scorponok.
Scorponok will be good.
Thunderhoof. Yeah, I'd love to get all them.
A question for you then. Do you want them because the figure design is good, or do you want them because they've actually fleshed out their personalities a bit in the cartoon?
Because I've watched the cartoon of those characters. Yeah.
That's actually how I've ended up looking for some of the RID figures that I've wanted as well. But I remember the episodes with Quillfire, and they were quite good. I was quite amused. So yeah.
Yeah, even the Bisque repaint. Pirate.
Thermidor?
I don't know. Thermidor. No. Is it Thermidor?
The blue one.
He sounds like Monterey Jack. I thought it was Peter Cullen when I heard it. I was dead set it was Peter Cullen, but it's not. Yeah, just want to get all those figures just because they've got characters in the cartoon. You can sit there and watch them be their characters and have the figures for them. So, yeah.
Cool. I think we're at the end of the show.
Wait for that sale.
Look, there's got to be something coming up soon, right?
You'd think so.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Toys R Us just announced the sale.
That doesn't count. That
5%
doesn't
off.
count. They're giving you $5 off a deluxe. They're still $25 each. That's not a sale. That's not a sale. That's Kmart's regular price.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's taking a cut off it.
Now, what you just got to do is you got to price match for the Target stuff up.
Yeah, if back then. But then you may as well. So here's the thing, right? Unless there's something that I can't actually get at a particular store, I kind of don't really. I don't really believe. I don't appreciate. I don't know. I would rather go and buy a figure from the chain or the department store, whatever, that is actually going to sell it to me for a decent price instead of going to another one and making them price match. Because if Target is going to give you $15 for a deluxe, buy the bloody thing from Target. Show them that you appreciate the price. Show them that you appreciate their stock levels. Just give them the business. Unless you are specifically looking for something that they don't have in stock there, then go and price match it. But yeah, in general, I would rather reward the company that does the good price.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just Target's stuff up had ended, but I still had the images saved of it. So I said, right, I'll just price match it in other stores.
Yeah.
Does that work? Because usually they call the stores.
I just went into Big W, said, I'll have these deluxes, can you price match with Target? And showed them the $15, with the thing acknowledging that it was a cock up and all. And they said, yeah, sure, we'll sell them $15.
See, that takes balls. I don't think I've got the balls to go in and try and bluff my way through that. I don't know. I think I might send you out to get my Wave 4s, okay?
Yeah, sure.
See if it works.
Are they even hit in Australia?
No, but they'll be out soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
And that's it. Like,
Max is buying everyone on the podcast Titans Return Wave 4. How's that? It's really good of you, Max. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, you just have to fly me to Sydney first.
Why? You can post them.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless they lose them like they have my Masterpiece Cheetor. God, it went to goddamn Bendigo.
But they haven't lost it. It's still tracking, and they just sent it to the wrong place.
They sent it to the wrong place. Yeah.
Are they doing that thing where they just send in between the two places again?
Yeah, it's Ozpost ping pong.
Yeah, send my birthday present away.
All right, look, we are at the end of the show. Thank you for listening, everyone. We hope you've enjoyed the first Transformers Weekly podcast. We will be back with a slightly revolving door of hosts, but with some consistency, we hope. At least the most consistent person from Off the Shelf was Brad, and Brad will be here regularly, and so should I, and we'll see who else. But Australian Transformers Weekly is the weekly Transformers podcast for Australia, with news and reviews about not necessarily Australian Transformers releases, but we'll be looking at overseas news all the time. But we are produced by Australia's... I'm going to do that again. You need to edit this out. Australian Transformers Weekly.
We need to fix this up.
The outro needs to be redone in the run sheet, okay?
Yeah.
So... thank you for listening. This is Australia's weekly Transformers podcast. We are produced by Transformers Collectors Club Australia. You will see the website is transformerscca.com, where you'll find links to the club's Facebook discussion group, sales group, YouTube channel, Twitter page, and of course, this podcast. You'll also find old episodes of Off the Shelf, which is the podcast we've been doing for the last 2 years, if you really want to listen back to some back catalogue. I think we estimated that's probably about 200 hours of content. If you have a really long commute to work, then there you go. You will find the podcast on iTunes, so please head over there. Will you actually find the podcast on iTunes? I'm not sure if you will yet. Please head over there and give us a review. The link is on the website and in the show notes. So thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week.
See you guys.
Catch you later.